lot longer than I thought.
Hello.
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 Hi, Glenda. Hi, Judith. How are you guys?
Hi, I'll be right back. I got a
Okay.
project coming on here. My son and I are trying to put my bed together that just came that was lost in shipping. And we are down to the final slats on it and it's beginning to jump, but I'll be right back.
Well, we don't want you to have to sleep on the floor, that's for sure.
Yeah, that was becoming an issue because my other bed imploded when the carpet came in. So I'll be right back, guys.
How are you, Judith? How are things down in Arizona ways?
I don't know, if you look at what Nikki has to say and what I have to say, intestinal digestive problems seem to be an issue down here. I'm not sure why, but that's what's going on with Teddy too.
I think they're everywhere.
Oh, great.
So what's your weather been like down there?
Well, we're warming up now, but we had some nice cool weather that was just delightful. The warming up interferes with what I'm trying to do for Teddy because I'm trying to get more walks in to help bowels move and all that.
Good.
But if by noon, say the pavement is too hot for him to walk on, then we're done until later.
Next day. No.
Yeah.
So what's your highs been are going to be?
Oh, they're only going to be in the high 80s, maybe the 90s tomorrow, which is, they were
Still
supposed to
pretty
be
hot.
in the 80s and be pretty nice, but for pavement, it's hot.
Yeah. We've been having delightful weather. We've been having about 40-degree weather in the morning, and then in the afternoons, it's been up in the 60s and 70s, and it's just been perfect.
Yeah, we had some super days.
Yeah, but I'm headed to Friday. I'm headed to Texas for several days to see my son and grandson, and it's supposed to be in the high 80s down there. So have to take my shorts with me. Well, hey there, stranger.
Me? Hi.
How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Well, good.
Hi,
Well,
Judith.
Hi, how are you? I already know how you are. Don't tell me that. You're fine.
Glenda. Hey, everybody.
Donna, how are your kitties doing now that you're
They
back? Everybody
Are
happy?
wonderful. Yeah, really happy, really healthy, really lazy.
Well, happy, healthy, and lazy. That's not a bad combination.
Sounds like me.
Well, I was thinking about me. I was thinking, wow, that's my goal, I think.
Well, it's a good goal, actually. Maybe not the net lazy part. But
Well,
That's not
Yeah.
a goal. It just
I don't
happens.
think I don't think I could be lazy if I wanted to. So there's just always
Probably
too
not.
much to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I
So
saw
you-
you were out hiking.
Yeah. I don't know if I told you that I'm kind of focused on doing the Camino in April. So if I do that, I've got to put in so many miles per week. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
So did you guys see those pictures that I posted of the Coeur d'Alene trail of the Coeur d'Alenes, the river?
Yes, that was what I was referring to. I just saw that a little while ago and I
Yeah.
started to write something and then I got distracted. It was beautiful. All the
Yeah.
mirror images
Oh,
in the
it's
water of
so
the trees.
Beautiful. Yeah, it was really beautiful that day. The weather was perfect and the fall colors are just now coming out. So it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been trying to do about 25 to 30 miles a week.
Wow.
And then I decided this weekend to do a longer hike on pavement because I wanted to see a longer, put in more miles, put in pavement and see what how my body was going to react to that and make a change. So I went out there and I hiked for 12 miles on that pavement out there. And it made a lot of difference. The next day I was so sore I could barely get out of bed.
Wow.
And walking on pavement is a whole lot harder than walking on dirt,
Oh,
So
definitely.
yeah.
Really?
Well,
I
hey,
noticed
Sabrina.
it just walking on some lawn instead of sidewalk.
Yeah. The problem is that if I do the Camino, that a lot of it's on pavement. And so I've got to kind of get myself used to that and what you know, the type of shoes to wear and stuff like that that are best for that. So, yeah.
Hey, Sabrina.
Hi, guys.
Hi, sweetie.
How are you guys?
We're all great.
Pretty good.
Good.
We're all here.
Sorry I was late.
Well, that's okay. We gave us a chance to talk bad about you for a little bit.
Oh,
So,
good.
yeah. But we're finished
I came just in time.
just in time. So I don't see any long-haired dogs laying there with you.
Any what?
Long-eared dogs.
Oh, yeah. There's one in the corner over there. The other ones are downstairs with Dad.
Dad. Wow, I saw your post. Handsome and smart.
Oh, thank you. He is. He's a super genius.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, so did you guys find a home for that hound you guys that you posted?
Oh gosh, which one?
There was a looked like a coon hound that you said was lost. And weren't y'all trying to find a home for it, or was it an adoptee or what? But I know it was a hound because I started to
God.
say, well, why don't you keep it? It will fit right into your family.
Oh my gosh. I'm sure I post so many hounds and I was very close to keeping one, but no, probably not the most recent one I kept. Yeah, but I did find one in our neighborhood, which is bizarre. Someone obviously drove to our neighborhood to let it out because they knew like maybe I was there or something.
Wow.
And I did find an amazing home for him.
That might
And
have been the
we
one
had to
that
trap him.
that might have been the one that I was talking about. Did you post a picture of it?
But this is like a year ago.
Oh no, this was recent, last couple of weeks. Yeah.
No.
Anyway, it was
I
a
think-
nice looking hound, and I was just wondering if you'd found its home or you had kept it yourself.
I wish. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, my dream is to have a hound sanctuary. That's like one of my big goals.
Yeah,
I think they're the most underrated, incredible, soulful beings on the planet.
I don't think your neighbor would probably have that as their dream.
No, we would have to move. Yeah.
My biggest nightmare is having a hound sanctuary next door to me.
I know. Most people's, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey,
We've
Deborah.
got some people that live in the neighborhood that have two beagles, and they walk these beagles down and along the sidewalks, and they're howling the whole time, both of them.
Oh, I love that sound.
Yeah.
I love it. It's like a bugle,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they're pretty vocal.
the
Yeah.
beagle bugle.
I don't know. I think I one of my favorites are Basset. I had a Basset hound one time, and they're the sweetest dogs. They're the sweetest dogs. I love them. They're hard to beat.
I just was enlightened. There's a sport called bassetting. Did you know about this?
No, but I had a client of mine that had a Basset that did agility training with the Basset.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
No, bassetting is like basically the equivalent of a fox hunt, but with bassets. And I think they're following like random bunny trails, but they never catch it because they can't run fast. And the owners can run with them the whole time. Basically, it's an excuse for like a big cocktail party, tea time, while you lazily run with your basset hound who runs in 14 million different directions and can never catch anything. And
Yeah,
it's like an
yeah.
actual sport.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
That sounds fun. I remember years and years and years ago, they did a study, and it was on TV, and I don't even remember who put it on. Then they were trying to show the people on TV which breeds were the most intelligent breeds. So they had set up this series of tests, and they had all these different breeds, and they would put them through the test and score them. And one of the tests that they had was they had this big cardboard box, and they would put the cardboard box over the top of the dog, and they would time to see how long it would take them to get out from that box. And they put it over the basset hound,
Oh no.
and they started timing it, and then they kept watching and watching and watching and watching. Then pretty soon they went, "What the heck?" And they lifted it up, and she laid down and gone to sleep.
Sleeping. Oh.
It was pretty clever. So, but that's typical what a Basset would do. Yeah.
Oh, I love them.
So, hey, Deborah, how are you?
Hi, Dr. Thomas. I'm okay. How are you doing?
Well, pretty
How you
well.
feeling?
Pretty well. Nikki just joined us. Hi, Nikki.
Hello.
How are you?
Nikki.
Hey, guys.
Well, cool. Glenda's here somewhere. I think she's fixing her bed or something, she said,
They're putting it together.
putting it together. She bought a bed, so. All right, so what do you guys want to talk about this evening? I told my wife that I would not go over an hour, and so I'm going to try to hold her to that and hold it to that. So anyway, I'm getting ready to go out of town. I'm leaving Friday to go to Texas to see my son and grandson for a few days.
Oh, nice.
So it's a short week, and so I've been double booked on my appointment, so it's been kind of tiresome days. So we're not going to go too long. So hopefully keep it in an hour range. So let's get started. So who wants to talk about anything except for baseball and politics?
I have a couple of little questions. One
Well, you've got
is,
little cats. That's why you have little
they
questions.
are little questions. Yeah, little cats. So Rhett, you had suggested with Rhett putting his medicine into little capsules. So he takes 7 of the little 0.5 capsules per day,
Wow.
4 at dinner and 3 in the breakfast. Those aren't harmful, are they?
No, it's amazing that you could do that. The ret would
Well-
allow you to do that.
Well, I don't stuff them. I disguise them in his food.
Okay,
Yes.
well, that's great. Yeah, no problem.
And also with the digestive enzymes, are they to stay on those permanently forever?
You know, I really think that that's a good idea. You know, we've got a lot of research that says both because years and years ago, this is what they said, because the food that we were feeding our dogs and cats years and years ago did a whole lot of damage to their gut. And we know that we still see that today. But what happened was that the gut had some mutations because of this, and they're passing those mutations on vertically from mama to babies. And so what they say nowadays is that kittens and puppies and human babies are being born with inefficient, defective guts. And so what we're theoretically is doing everything we can to try to help that gut perform to its maximum. And so that really requires digestive enzymes and probiotics. So yes, that's my standard answer.
Okay. Does that help repair the leaky gut also?
It's a part of it. You bet.
Okay.
You bet.
All right. So that would be the same for humans.
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
Dr. Thomas, what do you think about cycling different enzymes and probiotics, like different makers, just to get a diversity?
You know, boy, oh boy, that's a good question. And, you know, I don't know how long you guys have been doing this. I know several of you, but the point is, if you looked at at the products that were available 10 years ago, you know, even 5 years ago, you might have had a couple of companies that were making probiotics and digestive enzymes. Now they're coming out of your ears. You know what I mean? Everybody, their brother is selling pet products, you know, supplements, and they're getting overwhelming. They're really getting overwhelming. So, you know, I don't think that there's a need for rotating probiotics and digestive enzyme. I think if they're high quality and they're serving their purpose, I don't see any reason to be rotating them, you know. Again, too, I was talking to a client today that was on a phone consultation, and we were talking about that because she said the same thing. I'm overwhelmed with all this information and all this stuff. Should I, should be using this? And this lady had a dog that had a really bad heart. And so she's up there Googling all the supplements that she can use for a dog with a bad heart, and they're coming out of her ears, you know? And the problem with that is that you really don't have, when you're going to Dr. Google, you don't have anybody that's sitting there saying, this is doing the same as this, or this is conflicting with this. And it's really gotten out of hand. So, and then if you listen to the manufacturer, they're saying, well, this is why you should be buying my product because it's better than that. And it's just, the way I see it is, if you find a good product and it's serving your pet, then stick with it. Because remember, none of these products that we can buy over the counter are regulated at all, zero. And so nobody is going in there to that company and saying, hey, we want to test your product to make sure that what's in it, what you say is in it, and nothing else. Nobody. Nobody. So we're completely at the word of that company. Okay. Where it's like, we're trusting them to deliver something that they're telling us that's good for our pet. And is that something wise, to do? Now, if there's products out there that have been around and stood the test of time, then sure, that, and you look at Dr. Tobias, he's been around a while. He's got good products. Mercola, they've got pretty good products, so, but it's really hard. It's really hard because you really don't know who to trust. I mean, look at Adored Beast. Anybody familiar with Adored Beast?
Yeah,
Did you ever see what happened to them?
they got bought, right, by a
Well, you know
parent.
why they got bought was because the veterinarians that were on their board of directors were doing illegal stuff. Yeah, they got busted for doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So they had to get out. So they sold their company. And
Wow.
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying we never know who to trust. We
Wow.
had when CBD started getting popular, a couple of years ago. And that's the same thing. Yeah, a lot of people want to have their pets on CBD, and a lot of pets should be on CBD oil. But how do you know you're getting quality CBD oil? You don't know it because nobody's testing it. Okay, nobody. So and it can be really dangerous. Now here in the state of Washington, because Washington has a legal marijuana law, and that's what makes it even tougher. Because in states that legalize marijuana, every pot shop on every corner has CBD oil for pets in it selling. So people go down to the local pot shop and they buy CBD oil for their pet. You don't know what's in those bottles. You don't have a clue what's in those bottles. And I literally seen it cause problems. I saw a dog with brain cancer that it pushed the dog over the edge, and the dog died the night first time they gave it a treatment of CBD. So, but the other thing, and I might have mentioned this to you before, we had a lady veterinarian out on the west side over by Seattle that started manufacturing CBD oil. And she sent out an email to all the veterinarians that saying, hey, I'm manufacturing CBD oil. If you send, I would appreciate you sending your business my way. And this was a licensed veterinarian. And we're saying, well, sure, we'll be glad to help you. And so anyway, people are recommending her because she's a veterinarian. She can be trusted, Well, then what happened was she started making a lot of money, and so she put on her Facebook all the medical advantages of using CBD oil on a pet. Well, that's illegal. You can't do that. And so the FDA said, no, you just broke the law. So they went in and they busted her. Okay. And so they took all her products, and they took her products and they tested her products. And she had 3 products, and 2 of the 3 products she had 0 CBD oil in it. None, 0. The other one had a little bit, but it wasn't near enough to be effective. And she was selling that stuff for $97 a bottle.
Oh my
Wow.
And it had zero CBD oil in it.
Wow.
Yeah. And so that just tells you, you just don't know who to trust. Now, the reason I started using Canapet for my CBD oil source was because they did the original testing at the vet school in Colorado, at Colorado State University. So all the research, all the lab testing and everything was done at Colorado. And so it's all documented, their research and everything. So the other thing too, is that they ship interstate. And when you ship CBD oil interstate, then the FDA does regulate it. It does test it, and it has to have below 0.035% THC in it. So you just have to be careful with these supplements. And it might be as innocuous as having some 3 or 4 different Western herbs in there. But remember, there's nothing out there, an herb, a medication, any kind that doesn't have potential side effects, especially in a pet that's sick. Okay. So what you guys have been doing this, been around here for quite a while. So what do? We test it. We always test. We
Test
always
it with your
test.
pin.
Okay.
Mhm.
So that's the only way that we can. So if you bought a bottle of something that says it looks pretty good for your dog that's got kidney disease, it might look good on the bottle. You don't know what's inside there. You don't know if there's contaminants there. You don't know. So energy test it, at least energy test it. So, or get a hold of somebody that knows that, yes, this company's been around long enough. Yes, people have been using it. Yes, it's been effective. Yes, we've got good feedback and everything. So that's about the best we can do. Okay. So did I
Mhm.
answer your question, Sabrina?
Yes, yes, for sure.
Yeah.
And you,
and
I
again,
mean, like,
There's
as
not
far as-
there, I don't see any real benefit of rotating,
okay,
you know. If you've got something that's working, then
Yeah.
why change?
and as far as Chinese herbs, I know your go-to is Con Essentials. And
Not necessarily.
Okay.
There's I've got two factors. One is to come up with the right herb to benefit the pet, and secondly, availability.
okay,
Okay. So I've got to be able, in other words, if you do a consultation with me and I recommend Chinese herbs, I've got to be able to get that to you in a reasonable time and a reasonable cost. Okay. So the thing about the reason that and Con Essentials is a real good company. Steve Marsden is the vet that does all their formulations, and he's excellent. You couldn't find a better Chinese herbal other than probably Dr. Shea at Jingtan, but he's
Mhm.
outstanding. So his products are outstanding. The reason that I recommend them more than most is because you can get most of them on Amazon,
right.
you
Mhm.
know? And so if I do a consultation with you and I send you a link, you can get it in Amazon and pay a retail price and no shipping. And so you can get it reasonable. Now, if I had Con Essentials shipped to you, in other words, that same one that you could buy on Amazon, if I got it for you and had it shipped, then you're going to be
Double.
paying an extra $11 to $13 just for the shipping.
Right.
So suddenly an $8 bottle of herbs is going to cost you $20. You see,
Right.
so those are factors when I make recommendations too, because if I have to use one of Jingtan Herbal's formulas, which I do often, then I've got a direct ship and the cost gets really high.
They're so expensive. Yeah.
Well,
I-
then you have to tack on shipping for one deal. Because like when I had my office and I was keeping herbs in my office, I would order 40 bottles of something and the shipping would be $15. And if I ordered one bottle of it, the shipping is $12 or $13. You see
Yeah.
what I mean?
Absolutely.
So it's tough when you're shipping out one bottle because you're having to pay a lot for shipping, sometimes more than the supplement. You know, does anybody use standard process micronutrients? Okay.
I
That's
have
a
in the
good-
past.
John, are you using a renal supplement or any renal support or anything?
No,
Okay, I couldn't remember if you were, anyway, you
I'm-
get a bottle of feline renal support, standard process, and the shipping cost more than the bottle itself.
Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So those are factors in why I recommend certain ones.
Can I ask one super dumb question? Then we have to go back to Jonna because this was originally her question time. But I messed up after bragging about how I organize all my supplements. I messed up this week and I don't all the Con Essentials look the same and I messed up. I didn't put enough in both Kiki and Chloe's things and I don't know what I gave and what I didn't give. Do you think I should just throw those supplements out and restart? Like,
Are you
I know
talking
it's-
about you've got the
Like-
tablets and you don't know which one?
Yeah, I feel like maybe I gave Blood Palace to Kiki and not, and then Chloe has her 2 ones for cancer. And she should have 4 in each little canister and there's only 2 and I don't know which 2 I gave her. And I don't know if I should just scrap all those and rebuy.
Well, if you're talking about the whole bottles, then I wouldn't do that. But if you're talking about just a few pills, first of all, it's
9
it's-
days, 9 days worth.
Yes.
yeah. Well, first of all, those herbs are not going to hurt. In other words, if you gave Blood Palace in the dog that need, but it wouldn't hurt the dog.
Okay.
It's not like you're going to have some toxic reaction or anything like that. It just wouldn't wouldn't have any benefits. Okay.
Okay.
The only other thing that you could do is reorder those herbs. If you're gonna need them in the future, go ahead and order them now, and then just open the bottles and see which ones they are.
Yeah, no, they all look exactly the same. I have like 5 different Con Essentials.
Oh,
that I
they all
get.
look the same.
all
Ugh.
exactly the
Yeah.
same. They're
They
all
all-
just
they
brown
do.
circles.
But
may
I
have-
energy test. Now, I've
Yeah.
done that a couple times just lately with concentrated liver happy and concentrated 8 gentlemen. Look almost identical when you're looking at them in a capsule. And I don't know what I did with what. And so I've energy tested.
Good for you.
Wow.
Good for
That's a
you.
great
Good
idea.
idea.
So
Yeah.
So those are obviously Jingtong. So who's getting Jingtong for you?
It's Arizona Animal Wellness Center.
Good, cool, cool. And so she stocks it there?
They do,
Good.
the Liver Happy particularly, they
Yeah.
stock.
Well, that's a real popular formula.
Yeah,
Yeah. And that's what I did when I had my office. I stocked it. So it was always there when people would come in that I'd just give it to them, you know?
mhm,
Yeah. Well, that's good that you can do that and you don't have to have it drop shipped to you.
mhm.
So like 9 days of giving maybe only half of Chloe's cancer needs is not going to hurt her. Like if I just wait out these 9 days and then, you know what I mean? I make 9 days in advance.
You
Yeah, I know
you
what you're
probably
saying.
did it right.
No, I totally missed. But is it,
Well,
okay?
you
What
can
if
do,
she
you
gets,
can do what Judah says, test it. Test
I
it.
can, but I
Give it to her.
stink at it.
You know what? I just throw it away and start over. If you have any doubt in your mind, it's not worth 9 days, whatever it costs.
Of
If you
agony.
get Cancer.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
worth it.
especially you, Sabrina, as much as
I
you
know.
worry.
If she
Oh my
gets
God, I
sick, you're
just-
gonna blame yourself forever for not doing it.
Yeah, and so will we.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Great.
I don't
That's
know.
a good idea, Jonna. I didn't factor in the Sabrina factor.
Yeah, that's a huge factor. Thanks, Jonna.
Well,
If it were me, I would take them all myself and I'd think, "Well, good, it's gonna be good for my heart. It's gonna be good for any cancer that's starting. So yeah,
Oh gosh.
because I'm taking some Essential herbs right now that's a dog product.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
cool.
didn't
It's a-
see.
yeah, tastes like a dog biscuit. You think
Yeah,
I'm kidding,
I
but I'm
used to
not.
eat dog biscuits when
Really?
he was a little
Yeah.
kid. Yeah.
I'm taking 6 Gentle Pets.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the same thing as 6 Gentlemen, but it's 6 Gentle Pets.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's just what you had on hand.
No, I had to place an order, and instead of ordering a different order, I just had them put in 6 Gentle Pets because I knew it was the same thing.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
it's
cool.
just that it comes in a little flavored tablet, so it's the same thing. Yeah,
Does it taste like
absolutely,
liver?
absolutely the exact same thing if I would have ordered the humans, except it comes in a little flavor tab. The only difference I could tell is that I've grown a tail since I've been taking it. So, but Lisa likes it though. She knows when I'm happy.
cute.
All right, Jonna, back to
That's
your
it.
question.
I just see you can get standard process on Amazon now.
Yeah. and
Really?
you've been able, can you?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's interesting
Tons and
because
tons of
standard
products. I don't
process.
know if they have everything, but they've got most of their stuff. It's expensive, but there's no shipping, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, standard process is really, really, really down on Amazon handling their products. They're worse than anybody. It really
doing it.
aggravates them. Yeah. The reason being is that the practitioners that sell standard process, they rely on that income.
Mhm.
Okay. And then when the client can go out and buy it on Amazon, that competes with them. And they
course.
get feedback from the practitioner. Hey, that my client's going and buying this on Amazon, and which is against their policy.
Yeah.
And so standard process of all the companies that don't sell, that only sell to practitioners that end up on them, they fight it the hardest. So I'm really surprised. They've come and gone, but usually it's been very limited in their products. So I'm surprised, but
Yeah.
to me, it's good because it helps my client.
I mean, I don't know what all they have, but there's a huge tons and tons of stuff on there.
Well, you think about it, is that there's some of these doggone prices that you see, even on some Essential products. I would see when I provide them a link and I'm looking for the best price. And so, there was a bottle the other day of 120 tablets, and it was like $30.90 for a bottle. And the same bottle by another seller was $49. So $19 difference between the two bottles is exactly the same.
Wow.
So yeah, so there's a lot of markup when it goes through Amazon. Same standard process. One of those that go through Amazon, their prices are absolutely ridiculously high. Now, because what
Well,
they're
you're saying
doing
it's
is they're
hard-
getting their hands on it, and they're selling it through Amazon on a secondary deal. So that's why
It's
they're
marked
raising the price
up
on
on
it.
Amazon?
Yeah,
It's marked up?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so my essentials for like $40, I could get cheaper on a non-Amazon site?
you can't get it any other place.
Oh,
Yeah, I can't find it anywhere.
No, you can only buy it if you're a practitioner. See, they set it up so that it's only sold to only sold to practitioners. But what happens, some people get away to buy and they buy a bunch of it and then they sell it through Amazon, but they mark it up so that they make a profit on it, you see. But the point is if you buy it on Amazon and if you get free shipping, then it ends up actually being less than if you see what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
okay.
So, because I can have it shipped anytime, but if I
just
if
like
I can
the
buy it on
convenience.
Amazon, they're saving money.
Yeah, I just like the convenience of it myself, you know.
Well, looks like we've got a Natalie here.
Mhm.
Hi,
Yeah.
Natalie.
Yes, hi everyone.
How
Nice
are
to meet
you?
you.
Welcome to the
Thank
zoo.
Yes, it's good to be here.
Well, cool. We're glad to have you. It's always good to have a new monkey in the cage. So does everybody know Natalie? Natalie how long you been here? A couple of weeks?
Couple of weeks, I'd say. Mhm.
Oh, and this is your first Zoom meeting, right?
Yes.
Boy, it's just really I don't know how you would describe these.
Scintillating?
It used to be very professional before we started doing Zoom. I would just give a presentation and then people would do the response on Facebook page. But now that we Zoom, it's just more of I don't know what you call it.
Free for all.
I would say it was a hen session, but because I'm not a hen, I can't say that. So
Oh, brother.
It's just.
who
a
said that?
chat.
Oh, brother. Was that Jonathan?
That's
Yeah, that sounded like you. Oh, brother. I'm sorry I
Cool.
stepped on your toes. All right. So what we generally do, Natalie, is if anybody has questions about their individual pet, they just shoot them out and then I do what I can to answer them and other people hop in and step in. So
Okay, I've got one.
who's that?
Glenda. Yeah, I'm back. My bed's
Jonna,
together.
did we finish? Jonna, did we get all your
Oh,
questions?
yeah. Yes, thank you.
Okay. All right, Glenda.
Okay,
You know, when
there's,
you left to go fix your bed, you went to the back of the line.
did I?
Yeah.
I tell you, those slats and that kicked my son and I's butt. We couldn't figure out what the world we were doing wrong. Oh, it's like, anyway, it's together and hopefully it won't fall apart. But I've just got a question. In the family, there's about 3 dogs all together, and one started itching really bad around her neck. Thank God Sam's not around it. And then another one started itching and clawing all over. And then now another one started itching, and they're all itching all around the same place. There's absolutely no way that these could be hot spots. They can't share the same thing, right? You can't
Fleas.
get it.
You're looking for fleas.
We don't have fleas in Utah. We don't have fleas. There are absolutely no fleas.
You got Mormon fleas.
Oh, God. No doubt. There's probably something here like that, but
I promise you have fleas in Utah.
well, they went to the vet. I kept going, there's no way. They were saying, the vets told them it's hot spots. I said, there's no way that 3 dogs can catch hot spots all at the same
Well,
time.
you don't catch hot spots. Hot spots are
No.
trauma. Yeah. so,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. And I kept going, no. And the only thing I could think of is that maybe because the change of the season, it may be some sort of the itching thing, where we talk about itching from the inside to the out. But
Well, there's only 2 possibilities. One is that you got a flea problem, or 2 is that all 3 dogs have allergies that are coming out at the same time.
yeah.
But
That's what
sure
I
would be
was
looking
coming
for
up with the
fleas.
same deduction. I was just going
Yeah.
through all of my books and everything that you've said. And it didn't make any sense. But the
You know, it's
one vet
funny,
shaved.
we've never, ever had a flea on any of our pets, ever.
No, Sam's
but
never
now-
had any.
Now we have a flea problem now that we're having to address. This is the first time
way.
ever.
Serious?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Why
And
is that?
And it's the
just-
cat. It's the rotten cat. It's always the cat's fault.
Blaming it on the cat.
Yeah, well, this cat that you guys know that I ended up with, he's the neighborhood Romeo. So he he goes all around to the neighbors, and the neighbors have 3 or 4 cats that live outside. So he's messing with all the cats. So I'm sure that's how he picked the fleas up and brought them into the house. So now we have fleas
Well,
everywhere.
it's really moist there though, isn't it? Your humidity is
No, it's not. It's really not. We're inland northwest.
inland?
so it's not
Oh,
bad.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
no. But we generally don't have a bad flea population in this area. We've never had them.
I've
And,
never, as long as I've lived in Utah, which was most of my life until I went to Arizona, we never had any.
Yeah.
And then even down there, I never had any issues because it was just too hot and dry.
But
but-
check and make sure.
Yeah, I'll tell them to do that. Cause I was just like going, there's no way. Cause you know, they always come to me and ask, and I'm like, I'm looking up everything. I've said, hotspots, do not do that. That's an individual dog issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so is an allergy thing. It's an individual dog thing. It's just that the fact that if 3 of them had allergies and that, you know, this is the fall, in the fall, we have a peak in allergy season
Yeah.
in the fall.
Mhm.
So that'd be the only other possibility, but it's
It's
just the
really
same thing.
dry.
Lisa said something the other day, said, what if these, you know, because everybody was scratching and it was all started at the same time. And she said, what do you think about fleas? I said, we never had a flea problem ever. And so I got the dog started looking, and sure enough, they were there.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Okay. Then
Well,
I'll
that's
tell
exactly
them to
the
look it
same term I use. Holy crap.
up. Well, the interesting thing is that one of the dogs went to the vet and they shaved her all down and gave her some cream to put on it. And I'm going, I've never heard of this. This doesn't.
Well,
you
they're
know,
treating
it's-
for a hot spot. That's why they use the cream.
Is that why? And
Yep.
it can't possibly be when the husky's coming down, is scratching and
Yeah,
the
you got
golden's
a husky,
coming
you're
down.
gonna
It's
have to
like,
look hard to find the fleas on a husky. Remember, you're not
Exactly.
looking for fleas, you're looking for that flea dirt. Looks like
the
pepper.
dirt, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
down around the tail where the tail connects to the body.
Oh,
that's
you
where you're gonna
know
look.
what? I just got to thinking they went camping a few weeks ago. I wonder if they brought something back from wherever they went.
Do you have a flea comb?
I don't know. Because I don't, Sam's got real short hair but he wasn't going anywhere. So, but I can't imagine. Okay, then
it out.
that's an idea. Okay, I'm done.
All right. Well, I hope it's not fleas.
Me
They're a pain. They're a pain.
Oh, God,
All right, who's next?
absolutely.
I do have a question.
Okay. You
So, I am from Japan, and so my husband will most likely be sent back to Japan next spring. So I have to prepare my dogs to go back to Japan. And one of the requirements besides rabies is, this is new, not that they have to have lepto vaccine.
Lepto.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know,
And-
I wouldn't make a big deal out of it. I
No?
really wouldn't. I
Okay.
really, you know, if you want to detox after they get it, then just use some homeopathic Thuja, Thuja.
Yeah.
Give them one 30C tablet once a day for about 3 days and detox with that. Don't be afraid of lepto. Okay, vaccine. It's not really that strong of as a matter of fact, it's a pretty innocuous vaccine. That's why they vaccinate it once a year.
Want some food?
Okay, so don't be
Okay.
afraid of lepto vaccine. Don't be.
Yeah.
You know,
You see, I read that it can lead to kidney failure, and my dog's kidney values that it's been pretty good, but her kidney is not functioning properly anymore. So I got
Yeah,
freaked out.
Yeah, you know, as a vet that for practice conventional medicine for a long, long time, I've vaccinated thousands of dogs for lepto, and I've never seen a lepto vaccine damage the kidneys.
Okay.
But let me tell you, you've probably heard me talk about lepto before. And to be honest with you, I've never seen a dog. Now the history of lepto, the way lepto worked was that years ago, the reason we vaccinated for lepto was because there was a lot of dogs that lived out in the country, and they got exposed to lepto because they were around cows, and cows were the carrier for lepto. Okay, so cow would get lepto, they would pee in the pond, dogs would get in the pond and lick out of it, and they would get lepto. So we vaccinated dogs for lepto. And then as time went by, fewer and fewer people lived in the country with cows, and most of the dogs lived in the city with people and then lived in their homes. And so there wasn't any real sense of in giving lepto, you know, so they took it out of the, and so everybody just took lepto out of the vaccine. Okay, well, that stayed that way for years. And then suddenly some dogs started coming down with lepto again. All right, the disease. And it was like, well, where's this coming from? And come to find out that there was a new strain of lepto. It was being carried by wildlife. Okay. And so the minute that people started having dogs get lepto from wildlife, and same thing, the wildlife would get it, they would pee in a puddle and the dog would drink out of the puddle, and that's how they would get sick. So anyway, so the manufacturers came out with a new vaccine. That's what they're using now. And a lot of people are vaccinating for it. And I don't vaccinate for it. Why? Because I personally have never seen a dog with lepto. I've never even known a colleague of mine that had a dog with lepto until this week.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Until this week, I literally did a phone consultation with a lady that had a young dog, has a young dog with some kidney disease. And I told her that she needs to start looking, and they tested for lepto and the dog was positive for lepto. First case ever. So if that dog would have gotten vaccinated, it would have been protected against that dog, against that. And a lot of dogs that do get lepto, they do die from kidney failure.
Oh, God.
oh,
Didn't you always tell us not to do lepto if we're not near bodies of water or?
You know, it's one of these things that in other words, if you're a veterinarian, who do you recommend to get dogs? In other words, who am I going to tell to get your dog vaccinated for lepto? And so if you have a dog that's a Pomeranian that lives in the house, and the only time it goes out, you take them for a walk and out in the yard or something like this, are you going to recommend that dog get a lepto vaccine?
no.
Probably not. And we shouldn't be. Okay. So most of the vets say, if you've got a dog that goes out in the wood, a hunting dog, a working type dog, you know, a dog that's out in the woods a lot, then it's probably best to give a lepto shot. Okay. And that's what most veterinarians are doing. Some veterinarians say give lepto to every dog, and every year. And that, to me, that's a money thing. And we know that all vaccines, whether it's lepto or distemper or parvo or rabies or whatever, has potential for side effects. We know that. Okay. So it's kind of like a cost benefit analysis. What's the chance of my dog getting lepto? What's the chance of my dog getting distemper? What's the chance of my dog getting parvo? So you kind of have to look at that, And so again, my dogs go in the woods every day, every single day. They go in the woods with me. And I've never vaccinated them for lepto, and I never will vaccinate them for lepto. I'm willing to take that chance because I don't think they're going to get it. So what I'm saying to you really, Yuko, is, make a long story short, don't be afraid of it. If that's a
Okay,
requirement,
yeah.
go for
I
it.
mean, I wouldn't, if I didn't have to, but it's the
That's right.
law.
That's right.
Yeah,
So, but don't be afraid of it.
okay.
And we can get Zoom in Japan.
Yeah. The good thing about these Zoom meetings.
Yeah. Well, are you excited to go back to Japan?
Yes and no. Both.
How long have you been here?
Since 2018.
Oh, you haven't been here long.
Yeah, and this is not the first time. So, but
Okay.
this time has been really different because of COVID. So
Oh,
it's kind of a weird feeling.
Well, they're doing something right about COVID in Japan. I was reading the other day, they're doing an outstanding job with controlling COVID in Japan.
Yeah, Japanese people usually follow rules better than Americans.
Yeah, we have a lot of people that don't like to follow rules. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So who's next?
Can I ask something about Lullaby?
Yes.
Thank you. So she's once again really mucusy. When I lost my boy, she got a cold and she was mucusy for like 6-7 months, and then it went away, almost entirely went away.
Are you talking about
For-
mucus from the nose, mucus from?
Yeah,
Okay.
from the nose. In fact, it started out right after we lost Blue Sky. It was in one nostril and not the other. And it was like that. And I had her on a Chinese herb, and it just never got better, except that actually, honestly, I got to the point, okay, really short story. I got to the point one time where I just felt like she was ready to go. And I literally sat down next to her and I whispered into her ear that Blue Sky would be there for her. And then I just asked for help. And then the next morning I woke up and she was like 95% better. That was really interesting.
You
So
just
she
need to do that every day.
What's that?
I said, you have to do this every day.
Well, so anyway, I was just that blew me away because I whispered to her, Blue Sky will be there. And then I talked to him, and then the next morning, so much better. But she's back to being really mucusy again. And I got her on the Chinese herbs. They don't seem to be helping. I guess it's for allergies. They're not helping. I picked up the NAC. There's a lot of drainage, so it's coming out, but it's just not helping. And so and it's obviously been an issue for like a year and a half now. In addition to that, she's extremely thin, like really, really real thin. And I feed this cat 6 times a day. So I don't know what to do with her. She sleeps a
Well,
lot.
first of all, let's deal with the nose thing first. And then the nose thing, it all comes down to what the cause is, you know. I have if it's allergy related, then those Chinese herbs should help. But if they're not helping, then it tells you it's probably not allergy related. Okay. I had a dog that I did a phone consultation with a couple of months ago, and his dog had this chronic nasal drainage, and they had gone in and done CT scans of the nose and everything. And all they kept saying, they'd done nasal biopsies, the whole 9 yards. And matter of fact, I had a lady last week, the same thing. And they kept saying chronic inflammation. And they did cultures, and the cultures were negative. And I told him, I said, it's got to be a nasal adenocarcinoma. It's got to be. And they kept saying, no, it's not a cancer. No, it's not a cancer. So anyway, I got an email from him last week and said, guess what? They found out that it is a nasal carcinoma. And it's like, but the good thing about it is that when I originally talked to him, that I put him on herbs, assuming that it was a nasal carcinoma. So we had already had him on herbs for that for some time. So, so the point is that we don't know what's going on underneath there. And so it makes it tough. So if there's an infection there that, is, if it's an infection, is it viral? Is it bacterial? Who knows? What you might do to rule out infection is to add some calendula, to her diet, because calendula does a pretty good job with bacteria and viral infections both. You could try that. See if
My
that helps.
understanding is calendula, isn't it the topical stuff you put on your skin?
No, you can get it in an extract too. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And just put it on the food. Yeah.
Do you have a brand that you'd recommend for a kitty?
No, I just get it online. I get a reputable brand, and then
Okay.
again, you're going to be dosing it probably a tenth of what the human adult, dosage would be. Why don't you give
Right.
that a try and see
Okay.
if that doesn't help? And if it does, then you'll know you've got a infectious component. Most of the time in cats, that's what you deal with, a chronic infection that you can't get rid of.
Well, like I said, she got better and now she's terrible again. It's just
Yeah.
awful.
And it
But-
could be something simple as that it was a viral infection that kind of lowered itself to the point that it wasn't real symptomatic, and then some stressful event came out and up it came again. And cats are
Yeah.
notorious for that. They'll get these viral infections in the nose, it'll go latent and then
Yeah.
get stressed, and then up it comes again. Caliciviruses, rhinoviruses.
Right.
So try the calendula, see if that won't help.
The other question I have is it possible? I have this feeling that I feel like I've heard from you before, but maybe not, that the symptoms that she has, they're kind of interrelated. She has arthritis, and she's got the nose thing, and I don't think she's absorbing her nutrients because I feed her 6 times a day and she's like really, really skinny. Like,
Okay, so if she's not utilizing her food correctly, that's what you're
Yeah.
talking about inefficient utilization of the food. So
Right.
what would we see clinically with that scenario? Okay, anybody?
I don't know.
You guys have been doing this as long as I have.
Diarrhea,
Bingo.
diarrhea.
Yeah.
Except
got
she's
a-
not,
If you've
Go
got
ahead.
an individual that's not processing their food normally, they're going to have diarrhea.
so she does, occasionally she doesn't have the diarrhea. Occasionally the BMs will be a little bit wetter than they should be, but usually they're pretty normal looking.
Okay. And so you're telling me she has a good appetite.
No, okay, she doesn't necessarily like the taste of the herbs, so sometimes she doesn't want her food. She will allow me to feed her, put food in her mouth, but if the food doesn't have any herbs in it, she has a good appetite and she will ask for food. So
So the only
Sometimes
herbs you're using are the ones for the nose?
no, she's on stuff for kidney because I need to give her, okay, really briefly, she has a medicine called methizamol for her thyroid, and somebody told me once that methizamol can trigger kidney issues, so I just have her on kidney stuff for just so I don't have to worry about it, basically.
Okay, let's
Um,
talk about that because that's a good thing to learn about. Okay. Why she made a comment. There's the drug that her kitty is on is called methimazole. Methimazole is an anti-thyroid medication, and it's for cats that have hyperthyroidism. Okay.
Right.
So everybody know what hyperthyroid, thyroid can be low, it can be high. In dogs, it's low, in cats, it's high. All right.
Yeah.
So you get cats with hyperthyroidism. So the treatment most people go with is using oral methimazole, and that brings the thyroid levels back down within normal range. And the comment that she was told was that methimazole can cause kidney problems in cats. Okay. This is how it works. All right. If you have a cat that has hyperthyroidism, and what the thyroid gland it regulates what we call basal metabolic rate. Okay. Does people know what metabolic rate means? That's how much energy you burn when you're just resting. Okay. So for our cells and tissues to work, it requires a certain amount of energy to be utilized. Okay. So that's our basal metabolic rate. Okay. Well, what happens in cats that have hyperthyroidism, their basal metabolic rate is really high. And so they're burning up a whole lot of energy at rest. Okay. And that's why they get really thin. And so what happens is the good thing about hyperthyroid cats always happen in senior cats. Okay. Never happens in young cats. So you have a senior cat that gets hyperthyroidism. Well, because the cat's hyperthyroid and the metabolic rate's high, is that the heart starts beating a lot faster. Okay. So let's say your cat has a normal heart rate at home. Your cat's laying there on the couch and it's resting, and its normal heart rate's going to be 80 to 100. Okay. Well, you take a hyperthyroid cat, that cat, instead of it being 80 to 100, it's going to be 160 to 200. It's going to be usually double. Okay. So the heart's beating a lot faster. Well, that's good and bad. It's bad in the sense that the heart's a muscle, and if it's beating too fast 24/7, the heart muscle gets thicker and thicker, and they end up getting what's called cardiomyopathy. Okay. So they ends up causing heart disease. The good thing about hyperthyroid cats is that when the heart's beating that fast, it's sending blood to the tissue very rapidly. And so the kidney, this old cat's kidneys is getting bathed with blood, and the kidneys love it. They absolutely love being bathed with blood. So here you've got an old cat with old kidneys, and it's being perfused with all his blood because his heart's pumping so fast. And so they're just thriving. The kidneys are thriving. So what happens is that the cat gets diagnosed with hyperthyroidism. The veterinarian that, let's just say, isn't real careful, they put them on the standard doses of methimazole. Okay. Then what does it do? It brings that heart rate back from 200 down to 100. And then what happens? It pulls all the blood away from the kidneys, and it pushes the cat into kidney crisis. That's how it works. It's not the drug. It's the fact that the heart rate came back down too fast.
Oh,
Okay. And that would happen the same if you went in there and took the thyroids out surgically or whatever. So it's not the drug, it's the
Yeah.
result of how of the heart rate going back to normal.
I
Okay.
see.
And so what we
Okay.
do in old cats is when we put them on methimazole, we start them at a very low dosage and very, very slowly work to maintenance so that it starts pulling blood away from the kidney very slowly and doesn't
Yeah.
do it acutely.
Okay.
And most veterinarians are wary of that.
Well, she's been on the same dose for probably 3-4 years now.
When was
Never
the last time
changed.
she was checked, her level?
It would have been, oh gosh, like 6 or 7. She hates going to the doctor, so it would have been like about 6 or 7, 8 months ago now.
That's, if I were to bet, I would say that her thyroid is back out of normal.
Oh,
Yeah. Because if she's not regulated now, if her thyroid is creeped back up, then
Yeah.
she's going to be eating normally and are eating food and losing weight. Because when you said that the first thing that I thought about was hyperthyroidism, and then you mentioned methimazole.
yeah.
So I would have her thyroid checked.
Except, well, how do you balance that with a cat that just
You just may have to bump your methimazole up.
Yeah, but I'm saying that she has a really, really hard time going to the doctor to the point where she just throws up. She gets really upset.
Anybody have
she's
an
having a-
answer?
What's that?
Anybody have an answer? What can she do to help her?
But
kidney not-
I also wanted to say she's having a hard time breathing. So if I'm going to put the cat in the car, she already has a hard time breathing because of the nose. It's scary to me. Like
You mean breathing through her nose?
she's, yeah.
Okay.
Like
Can you
this.
sedate her?
Okay, wait, no, we don't want to sedate her. But okay, let me ask you a question. She says she has a hard time breathing because she's got congestion in her nose.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Yeah.
if I was in your room sitting there with you and I took a cotton ball and I shoved cotton ball in both of your nostrils, what would you do? Would you pass out?
No, you'd open your mouth.
There you go. So that's what she's gonna do.
Yeah.
So if she can't breathe, she's gonna open her mouth and breathe through. She's not, so don't worry about that. Okay?
Isn't open mouth breathing dangerous for cats, or is that only if?
Open mouth
it for a bad reason.
breathing is a symptom that could indicate that there's a serious problem going on. But what I'm saying is that you can take a cat and shove cotton up in their nose and they're going to start breathing through their mouth. Perfectly
Yeah.
normal. I mean, you
Yeah.
get out, or I don't know about you, but if I get out and run around the block, I'm going to be breathing through my mouth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
The point is that open mouth breathing happen if you're congested, then you breathe through your mouth, and the cat will too normally. So don't worry about that. Okay. And so my original question is, what can we do to help relieve the stress and anxiety associated with going to the vet? Anybody got suggestions?
Well,
Not
it
a
could be
cat.
Acupressure.
CBD oil.
I'm not big on CBD oil as a relaxant, as an anti-anxiety.
Well, that point at the very top of the head's supposed to help.
Yes, GB20 does. Yeah. What else? Pericardium 6. Remember that one?
That's
Really
for
good.
nausea. Isn't that nausea?
But it's also for anxiety.
Okay.
Remember, pericardium is all about the heart. Heart's all about
Okay.
where Shin is, and Shin imbalance is what we call anxiety. So pericardium 6 is actually the best relaxing point that we have in the body. But what can she give by mouth that could help?
Mm.
Anybody know? Anybody? I'll give you a hint. What about a Bach remedy?
Oh, rescue remedy.
Remedy.
Rescue remedy. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I would do.
I've tried those before. I've tried rescue remedy and feel away, and it just never seems to really. She'll throw up, and she usually has a BM. She just gets hysterical. She just gets really stressed.
Hmm.
So it's just,
Not
I don't know.
Nox vomica. Does
Well, that
give-
would help with the vomiting, yeah, but
Yeah.
it wouldn't cut down on the stress.
I'm just wondering if it's safe enough to put this cat, she just feels so vulnerable to me in the
Okay.
car.
So what would be another option?
Ooh, up her medicine yourself.
No, you don't want to do that
No,
because you don't want to do that.
in-home vet visit.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
Nikki.
Somebody,
in-home
did someone
vet.
say a mobile vet?
Yeah.
There you
Nikki,
go.
Yeah.
Mhm.
See if
I
you can
can
find a
try.
mobile vet.
I can try. he didn't really
Also-
want to do it.
So how do you do that? How do you find a mobile vet?
Well, I have one that will come to the house, but I've tried to get him to, he doesn't really like to come and take the blood for some reason.
Well, that's
Find
his
another
job.
one.
That's his job.
Yeah.
Tell him to bring an assistant.
Well, I will, you know what? Okay.
Yeah, that's what you're gonna need to do, Deborah. If you can get a vet to come to the house, that's gonna make all the difference in the world.
Okay.
Deborah, I'm having the same thing with my big Bex, and I can't, it causes me so much anxiety, and I'm putting off making her appointment. She's way overdue.
Yeah.
And I think I'm gonna get Keegan's acupuncture person that comes. I'm
Yeah.
gonna beg her, and if she can do a regular vet appointment and do like senior panel blood work. I don't know if it's possible,
Sure.
but
Yeah.
I have the
All
same
veterinary
anxiety.
acupuncturists are veterinarians.
What's that?
All veterinary acupuncturists are
Our
veterinarians.
veteran, yeah. So she should be able to come with a blood kit or something, right? Yeah,
If she has it.
yeah.
Okay.
And she won't charge an extra travel charge if she's here for Keegan's acupuncture anyway.
There you
So
go. Two birds with one stone. Hey, if I was a vet, I'd be happy with that.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I have the
That's-
same thing.
Deborah,
Deborah, I
really, that's,
really-
Deborah, that's the route to go. Get your vet to come out to your house. Get that thyroid checked.
Do you
'Cause I
have
bet you
any?
that- I bet you that's the problem. That's why the kitty's getting skinny.
Oh, God, she's just, and she sleeps a lot, and then she's got the arthritis pain. So, like, she doesn't jump as much. Anything I can do for the arthritis? I know Bao and the other one that's on the opposite side of K3. I know those are for pain. And is there anything?
Bladder
else?
60 is on the opposite side. Yeah. By way is the lumbosacral disc space. That's really good. Bladder
Yeah.
40 is really good. Liver
Okay.
3 is really good. Gallbladder 34 is really good. So I'm assuming the arthritis is in the hindquarter.
Yeah. In fact, the energy worker had work where they said her pelvis is really messed up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Remember, bladder 40 is the master point for the pelvic area.
And also when she walks, she has this hunch in the middle of her back. It's really weird, but it's like,
That's usually associated with pain. Yeah.
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 Oh,
So it's just
Yeah.
hard to see her this way. It's
how
hard.
old is she?
She's about 20 and a half.
Wow.
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 Yeah.
She's really old.
If I was that old, I would probably stay in bed all day.
Well, she mostly does. Yeah. Oh, and the other thing is, you told me with the mucus that she's going to be dehydrated. You suggested I put her on a fluid bag. And the thing about Lullaby is she has to have things on her terms and her time. And she would really have a really hard time with it. So I just decided I would use a syringe and give her 10 milliliter syringe 4 or 5 times a day.
That's
And
good.
I'm
So what
hoping
else can
that's-
she do to loosen that up?
Well, movement.
What else?
She,
Uh,
some of the, I know you had me working on a couple different acupuncture points and I've been doing some of them. The one, see, I don't remember the name, but the one in between the toe, like here.
That's large intestine 4. Now that's the master point for the face,
That's what you
Oh,
told me, this
yeah.
one. And you told me,
right here.
What? yeah,
That's large
there.
intestine 20.
and then the one that's, okay, on the back, kind of where K3 is, but higher up. You told me about, I can't remember the name, but it's higher up on the back over K3. That's another one for getting the mucus.
Yeah. But the question that I asked, what else can she use to loosen up that mucus, that congestion?
Humidifier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will start doing that again. I
You
did
bet.
that for a long time and I.
Put
do
it right there
again.
where she sleeps. Yeah.
Oh, I'm trying to figure out if I should do a nebulizer and I'm gonna have to put her in a box and put a blanket over the top, and I bought a nebulizer for her, but if I'm gonna make a saline solution, like, would you think that would be helpful? A saline solution, 1 cup water?
I don't see that any benefit of using just a humidifier. The reason we use nebulizers is that because we want to put something down into the lungs, okay?
Yeah.
And it's usually some type of medication, okay?
Right.
So unless you're medicating, then why even use a nebulizer?
I'm hoping to get it unsucked,
Then, yeah, you'll get the same benefits out of the humidifier.
really.
Yeah.
Well, the humidifier didn't really help the last time around. We could try it again.
Try it again. Yeah, it's going to help to some degree for sure,
Okay,
because it's going to
Alright.
loosen that mucus up. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
It's
give it
just,
for
it's
sure.
hard to see it.
I mean, if you were gonna do something into the, to get drugs down into the lungs or something, then I would say yes, nebulize. But
Yeah.
no, not in this situation.
Well, I tried to get her doctor to give me a prescription for NAC, which she's taking orally. But he told me that he'd never used it and that in his opinion it would kill her. So clearly he's not going to give it to me. Not
Okay,
going to happen.
all right. Well, get the thyroid check, do the humidifier, do your points that we talked about. And your kitty's gonna, the oldest cat I ever had was 17, so you're doing a lot better job than me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm
Except
gonna start sending my old cat over to you.
she's just my last baby. So it's just, you know what that's like.
Yeah,
Anyway,
okay, who's next?
thank you.
Nikki, I know you have questions.
Yeah. So with Jackson's diet, we did an appointment with the canine nutritionist that we used before. But what she's recommending is the meal plan she sent me, which is only supposed to be temporary for like 3 to 4 weeks, has a lot of rice in it. It's recommending that he gets 2 cups of rice. And I know when he had parvo and me and you originally talked about it, you were like, no, because rice in itself is inflammatory. So I'm like, I don't know if should I just substitute the rice for quinoa or just avoid it entirely? The issue is finding the calories since
Well,
he has the problem of pancreatitis being low fat.
it's not going to hurt to give a dog rice for a few days, but extended, because it does. Rice is a starch, it's converted to sugar, and sugar is
Yeah.
inflammatory in nature. And then one of your problems that your dog's got is you've got inflammatory process going on in the GI system. So starch is going to promote that inflammation. And it's really sad that I've done a lot of phone consultations with people that have worked with nutritionists, and I'm not saying, I don't know who the person you were, but I've had some people that recommended some horrible stuff for their pets. And I mean, I even had a lady that said her nutritionist recommended some brand of kibble for her dog, and it just, so that old thing about feeding dogs diarrhea, rice and bland chicken or something like that, or bland hamburger, that's been around for 40 or 50 years. And people just go right to that like it's some kind of standard protocol, but I wouldn't do it. If I've got a pet that's got really bad diarrhea, the 2 things I'm going to lean on most is I'm going to lean on fasting, and I'm going to lean on my Chinese herbs in conjunction with a healthy diet. And it's never failed me. It often takes a while, but I don't do anything to set things going backwards.
Okay.
Just doesn't work. It doesn't work. And that's why, the vet, you posted the vet put your dog on hydrolyzed diet, and it helped. And the first thing that I read was that it's going to be just a matter of time before she's going to say that it's right back the way it was. And it was just a couple of days and it was right back, because
Yeah.
those aren't the answers. It's just not.
No,
Yeah.
it's not. But we gotta figure out so how do we change his diet since his ultrasound shows he has chronic pancreatitis?
Well, first of all, chronic pancreatitis in the dog is extremely common. So
Okay.
don't feel like that you're having to reinvent the wheel here. And secondly, you've got a dog here that's really, really young that you got a diagnosis of chronic pancreatitis. And now with that, I'm assuming that was done by ultrasound.
Yeah.
Okay. What'd they say about the bowel?
So the bowel, they said there was no thickening and no signs of lots of inflammation. Like there wasn't any.
No inflammation. Okay, well, good.
Yeah.
Well, again, for pancreatitis, what do we have to be careful with? We have to be, the primary thing we have to be careful with is fat.
Yeah.
All right, so we got to feed a low fat diet. So what I would be doing is I'd be feeding a healthy diet that was focused on low fat, but it's healthy. You know what I mean? It's balanced. And that's what, and have you ever read my blog on my website about pancreatitis?
No, I'll have to
Yeah,
go
read
look.
it, read it. It's very, very detailed about that. Talks about feeding and everything. So yeah, read that and that's what I said the other day, healthy diet, go with some Chinese herbs that focus on the pancreas. And that,
Jackson.
yeah, and I never had a pancreatitis dog that we couldn't resolve. Never.
Okay. You
No.
recommended the can spleen supplement, so that should get here tomorrow.
Okay, so what is, in
Uh,
Chinese medicine, what is spleen synonymous to? Anybody remember?
Pancreas.
Pancreas, yep.
Okay, the spleen and pancreas. Okay.
So spleen
What?
support formula means pancreas support formula.
Okay. What would be the? Because he's had chronic intermittent diarrhea his whole life. You know.
Yeah, that's a
which-
big concern of mine.
Yeah, we've. You know, it was like how much of that was just because his stomach having the really really bad parvo. It was someone brought up if he'd been tested for. I mentioned the EPI. And I don't know. I mean, he does have the chronic intermittent diarrhea. He does have he's always had very bulky, mucousy stools.
And that spleen support will help with that mucusy stool.
Okay.
But what is mucus, guys? Chinese medicine, what's mucus?
Inflammation in the,
Mentioned.
Well, that's general, but I'm talking about Chinese medicine. Chinese medicine, mucus is phlegm. Phlegm is concentrated or dampness. And where does dampness come from? Spleen imbalance. Okay, always, always, always. Okay, so if we ever see
Okay.
mucus in stool, then we know we've got spleen imbalance and phlegm. And there's Chinese herbs specifically for that. And that you're putting him on is exactly for that. Well, so what else? What other supplements can benefit him, you guys? Besides Chinese herbs? She's just sitting there. He's got intermittent stool. She's had trouble with his appetite. She's had trouble with getting him to put weight on. So,
there's
okay, what does the
3
pancreas do? Anybody,
elements.
It
what does
produces,
the pancreas do?
and it produces the enzymes to break down all your food. So I did order him pig pancreas.
You're talking about pancreazyme. So, which is pig pancreas supplement, but, and that's good. They're very expensive.
Well, I ordered actual, so it's actually freeze-dried capsules of
Oh,
actual
okay. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. But the point
Second
that
one.
I'm making, and she said it's right, the pancreas, primary, pancreas has two types of functions. It has an exocrine function and an endocrine function. Do people know what that is? Exocrine function means that it has to do with the GI system, and that's what she said. It produces digestive enzymes, okay? Amylase, lipase, stuff like that. Okay, the endocrine part, anybody know what that does for the pancreas? Anybody ever had a pet with diabetes? Okay, pancreas
Blood
also
sugar issues.
responsible for producing insulin, okay?
Yeah.
All right, so that's its two primary functions. So if we've got a pancreas that's inflamed and not working, and it's having a hard time producing its enzymes, so what can we do to help it? Supplement digestive enzymes, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
all dogs that have this problem should be on digestive enzymes and probiotics.
Yeah, which we restarted. We have Dr. Maricola probiotics, and so you mentioned about Adorbeast and the issues. So we have Adorbeast digestive enzyme and probiotic, prebiotic. Is that something that you would recommend we still use?
betcha. Yes, yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, we have that and the Dr. Maricola
Good.
prebiotic and
Yeah,
probiotic.
and you're gonna have to need both because his gut microflora is really, really messed up. And so you have to normalize that. But you've got to help that pancreas now with those digestive enzymes while it's healing.
What about fermented foods? You
Uh,
begin to take it.
You
Would
know,
it help?
there, I don't do fermented foods that much. So
Hard for
I don't
pets,
have a
though.
lot of personal experience with it. I do have clients that have been using it, some successfully, some not successfully. I've had
Mhm.
people that say that their pet could not take fermented food, that it
Yeah.
caused problems. So I don't know. I don't know.
I've never
You know,
tried
the
it,
whole
but I
purpose
was,
of
I've
fermented
heard it.
foods is to give a natural source of probiotics.
Right.
That's the benefit, okay? The point is that if I can get it from a nice place like Dr. Tobias or somebody like that, then I would use that. I use them on my pets, but I don't use fermented food. So,
Yeah, I've never tried it either. I just heard about it. So I hear for us too. You know, to
yeah,
take it.
my wife got into that for a while and
Mhm.
it got so bad in the refrigerator that and then she went out of town.
I know, it's
Still hasn't missed
nasty.
it. She still hasn't missed it. So,
I know, I can't drink kefir. I just like,
I worry with fermented foods with him. Like now, which it's fall here in Arizona, but not really because it's Arizona. But he's been more itchy. Like if we go play in the grass, he's been itchy and stuff. So I just worry. I know with me, like fermented foods make my allergy issues a lot worse because. But
yeah, I would be a little, I don't know. Like I say, I don't know. A lot of people use raw goat's milk for those dogs. I just, I don't know. It could be wonderful. I just don't have that much experience with it. The only thing I can see, and people could sit here and tell me on paper all the benefits, but to me, goat's milk is meant for a young goat. So, cow's milk is made for a young cow. So I don't see a lot of really big advantages of an adult animal or human or whatever taking a goat from a cow or a dog. I mean, a goat or a cow for any reason, whether it's raw or pasteurized or whatever,
some people feed their dogs yogurt too, but
Well, we
Never
did
tried
yogurt in the
that.
beginning before we had a good source of probiotics because it's the only place that we could get probiotics. But the problem was that there just wasn't enough in the yogurt to be effective. But that was the only thing we had for a while.
there's a dollar missing.
It's probably in the pockets.
I was laundering money. There were
Okay,
$4 in my pocket though.
so who's next?
Oh, I wanted to say, I found this really, so I've been having a hard time doing the acupuncture points because my phone, it's hard and finding it. So I got this really cool chart I ordered off of Amazon.
Good.
It's all color coded and has all the stuff. And so I'm like, sweet. So now we have it and
Very
it's
good.
accessible. And I was like, this will make it a lot easier because I have too much in my head to remember for this stuff to stick. So
Well, it's hard to put all the points on one chart. It's just almost impossible. So that's why I like Cheryl's book so well.
that's a great
Because-
book.
Because she's got all those points and, got the leg, the inside of the leg, and it shows the points, got the outside of the leg, it shows the points. So, if you could ever, I don't know how much that book is cost this day, but I'm sure it's under $20.
Yeah,
I just ordered it. It's awesome.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
a really
great
good book.
book.
It's
what's it called?
it's called 4 Paws, 5 Directions.
Okay.
And
cool.
Cheryl Schwartz, and it is written for the pet caretaker, not for veterinarians. And that's what makes it really good, is
Mhm.
because it's really would be a benefit to you guys because it explains the fundamentals, it points out the points, it talks about the 5-element system. So it's made for as a good general information book for people that are having acupuncture done for their pets.
$30,
It's how much?
30,
$30?
$29.99.
Shame on you.
No, it's cheap. Is that a hardcover? Mine was
No,
cheaper.
it's a soft cover.
Soft cover.
Hmm.
Yeah, I had 2 copies. I lent my copy out to a client and she never gave it back.
Do you know anything about
No.
the supplement Balance It?
No.
No.
I-
Okay.
I don't like it because you have to put it into the food while you prepare every meal or something like that, or I don't know. There was something I read about it that sounded really annoying versus a Dr. Tobias that you just mix in the same amount. No, Balance It, you have to,
Get to balance it.
yeah, you have to make the meal fresh, but it's so mathematical, it's so exacting, and it depends on
It
like
gives
what
you a
you're using.
recipe to go
Yeah.
with the supplement is what it does. So like if you
Yeah.
have just the meat supplement, so like if you're doing just the meat, it would be meat, and then it recommends adding the oil and then the supplement, and it's supposed to be a complete. My concern is just about him actually getting the nutrients. I mean, he's eating better now since coming out of the hospital last week. I think the hydrolyzed food calmed things down enough for him to be like, okay, I'm actually hungry again. And he's been eating the rice and turkey mix that we've been making. But I just, want to make sure we're getting everything that we can, but without it being the less complicated and less sourcing of ingredients.
Yeah, you
that
don't
will
want it
make do the
complicated.
better.
You don't want it complicated. Well, just remember, Nikki, just keep moving forward. Use your digestive enzymes, use your probiotics, and use your healthy food. You use your spleen support, and things will work out. They always do.
Okay.
Okay, really. Yeah. I mean, I've had people, I mean, I know I've told you this. I had a client here in Spokane, and she had a dog with horrible IBD, and this dog had diarrhea all the time. And she was on all his meds and everything. And she wanted to get him off the meds. And so we converted it over to fresh food and started this, and the dog started having diarrhea just again, really bad. And it would have diarrhea all night long, and it stayed in their bedroom. And so she would be up all night long cleaning up diarrhea at night. And she was like, I can't keep doing this. I can't keep doing this. And so she said, my husband wants me to go back to kibble. My husband wants me to go back to kibble. And I said, well, you know what's going to happen. And so she literally got to the point she went out and bought a bag of kibble and had it sitting in the bedroom, but she never opened it. And finally that dog turned around, and it's lived happily ever after since then.
Oh,
But she is this close to giving up. So don't give up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't plan to. I mean, I did the math. I mean, it's cheaper to do a home cooked diet than it is the prescription food. So
Oh, plus it's healthy versus unhealthy. That's the main thing.
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
no,
I had a
that was
couple.
junk.
I had a couple from Coeur d'Alene that used to come over to Spokane for me to work on their dog. They had a 4-year-old Labrador. No, they had a 5-year-old Labrador that had not had a healthy bowel movement in 4 years. It had diarrhea,
God.
literally diarrhea for 4 years. And poor dog. It was the sweetest dog in the world. And they had it on every medication in the world, every food in the world in 4 years. And so we started working on this dog, and and they called me on a conference call. And I answered the phone, and he and his wife were on the conference call, and they were singing and happy and yelling because the dog had the first normal bowel movement it had in 4 years.
Oh,
Wow.
And they were dancing a jig. They were celebrating the first normal bowel movement the dog had. So,
So as long as he's gaining weight, is there any reason to spend the money doing the Texas AMA panel?
the only thing is if you had any more setbacks, then I would be concerned about vitamin B12.
Okay, it's just because that's almost $400. So
Yeah,
Sure.
it's gotten crazy. The other thing, I would go ahead and stay with what you're doing. And if things continue to go well, then you don't have a problem. If you're
Okay.
going back there and the diarrhea keeps going, you don't want to spend $400, then have your vet send you home some B12 so that you can give it yourself at home by injection. Has anyone ever done that at home?
Yeah, and apparently it's very painful, so. But I was doing it for weeks, for like months, and she would cry, and you told me that she cried because actually the B12 is the B complex, actually, it's a B complex. It's really
Yeah,
painful.
B
for
complex
cats.
stings, B12 doesn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, when he had parvo, his fluids had the B vitamins in them.
Yeah, but we're
That
talking
was-
about B12 deficiency because chronic inflammation causes B12 deficiency. Okay. And so,
Yeah.
so when we give B12 deficiency, we can't give it by mouth. We have to give it by injection. So we give B12 via under the skin. But again, B12 by itself under the skin doesn't sting. B complex under the skin stings like heck. And it's
Okay.
because it's in a different pH, the injection. That's why.
But Dr. Thomas, I was trying to research how I could get B complex into my cat, the folate, and I learned that liver has folate, but you're saying it would not metabolize it, like for Nikki's Jackson, liver would not help at all for the folate level. Is that right?
I don't think I would depend on that.
Okay.
I don't think I would depend on that. You know, because you don't know what you're going to be getting with that amount. The other thing too is you got to be careful buying liver. You know, remember you got a cow out there that unless they're eating some really healthy stuff, that's just that those toxins are going to be in that liver. So if you ever buy liver, make sure that it's organic.
Okay.
Otherwise, you're going to be eating all their glyphosates that they've been eating on, you know, from their feed.
Okay.
You don't want to do that.
Yeah. Well, my co-op, they only sell for chicken, so
Yeah.
so I don't know.
But you can get folate supplement, you know.
Well, I actually had her on the liquid stuff. Actually, Mira was the one that suggested that, but that ultimately turned out to not be as effective. I think that the injection did help, but I took her off of it eventually.
Yeah. Well, like I
Anyway.
said, if you have to do that, use B12 and not B complex, because there's no reason to give B complex. All they need is B12. And again, B12 doesn't sting, but B complex really, really stings.
Now I know, but she needed folate. So, but maybe Jackson doesn't need that. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, who's next?
I only had one little question.
Okay. I wouldn't have expected anything more from you with Teddy.
Well, yeah, with Teddy, and we talked a little bit at the beginning.
Fire away.
He seems to have inflammation down in his groin area.
You talking about the skin?
Yeah,
Okay.
well, but intestinal, but it's showing, you know, remember when you told us about the sunburn stuff, but it's not really sunburn. It's inflammation.
Mhm, mhm.
And so that skin is kind of darkened there
Okay.
in the groin. And now I've noticed that on the left side, usually, he'll have some swelling. It'll get kind of hard down there when you're palpating it, because
Mhm, mhm.
I can also do this. This happens at night a lot, and you just have to kind of smooth it out
Yeah.
and move it.
Does he
But the
lick down
left-
there?
Yes, he does.
Okay.
And on the left side, it's usually larger. And this lump, kind of, he gets a lump in there. And
Could be a
sometimes
lymph node. Could be a lymph
a
node.
lymph node,
Mhm.
okay,
There's an
They-
inguinal lymph node there.
yeah,
That's probably what's enlarged. Yeah.
because I didn't know what was there. You
Yeah.
know, what was down in there, and
Yeah.
why it would necessarily be more on one side than the other.
Yeah. I'm sure that's what it is. That's the inguinal lymph node that's enlarged.
Okay, so would you recommend him seeing a vet or just working
If-
with it?
Okay. So we look at why would it be enlarged? Okay. Then
Mhm.
the best case scenario is that it's doing its job. It's protecting that region. So which means that you could have a localized infection there and it's trying to get it under control, and it's a reactive lymph node. And so it's just doing its job. I
Mhm.
mean, if you told me you saw that lump down there and you didn't have any skin problems, or it wasn't licking down there, then that would be concerning, because I don't have I can't point the finger and say, hey, that lymph node could be reacting to this. And I'll give you a good example. You know, we have two lymph nodes here. It's called submandibular lymph nodes. And those get enlarged in dogs often. And a lot of times it's because they have infection in their mouth due to bad teeth, okay?
Mhm.
So let's say they've got an abscess tooth over here. So a lot of times that lymph node will be enlarged. It's a reactive lymph node to that local infection. Okay, so if I have a dog that comes in that lymph nodes are big, or one lymph node's big, and I look in the mouth and there's no signs of infection, then I'm concerned. I'm saying, why is that node big when I can't see that it's reacting? I don't see anything that it could be reacting to. And then if that's the case, then I want to get a tissue sample out of it, because I'm a little concerned. I want to make sure that it's not a lymphoma.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I will say that if I looked at one of my dogs and the inguinal lymph node was enlarged, then the first thing that I would do is I would be checking the other lymph nodes.
Mhm.
Okay. The lymph nodes, there's lymph nodes in the back of the knees called the popliteal nodes. I'd be checking them. There's lymph nodes up here on the shoulder area that's called the prescapular nodes. I'd be checking that. Then I'd be checking the ones under the jaw, the mandibular nodes, because a lot of dogs that have lymphoma have multiple nodes involved. Some of them have all of their nodes involved. And so people all the time come in and their dogs, all the lymph nodes will be enlarged, and the vets will be saying, well, it could be an infection. Boy, it would have to be a heck of an infection for all the nodes to be enlarged. And I don't know if I've ever seen a dog in 40 years that came in with general lymphadenopathy that did not have lymphoma.
Well,
So,
all this is followed all that anal gland stuff,
Yeah, it could be.
you know, and so it's kind of like that one grooming ended up with all kinds of things going wrong with the anal glands. I mean, it's still vestiges of that, I think.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I'm saying if you have one node that's enlarged, and then you're looking in the area and saying, is there anything going on in this general area that's abnormal? Is there any pathologies going on, that infection that node could be reacting to? And if
Mhm.
the answer is yes, then it's just probably doing its job.
Yeah, it's just not all resolved yet.
Yeah. And so if you told me that's been resolved for weeks or months, then I'd be really concerned that node was enlarged on its own.
Mhm.
Yeah. So and especially if it goes down,
Mhm.
okay, because a lymph node that goes up because of cancer is not going to get smaller.
Mhm.
Okay.
It does go down. And even when that whole area gets really tight, I can massage it out of there.
Yeah.
I can move it.
So what can you do to help out? Are you giving anything to help the immune system?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
sometimes colostrum, but not always colostrum. But there's other things for the immune system, although they aren't popping into my brain right now.
What I like is a good Chinese mushroom complex.
Mhm.
Really good for the immune system.
Okay.
Yeah. I take it myself. You know, I've got a mushroom complex that has like 4 or 5 different Chinese mushrooms, you
Mhm.
know, stuff like turkey tail. If, you know, that would be good, because it not only is helping the immune system, but in the event that some weird event that was an early lymphoma, it would be helping with that as well.
I actually have some turkey tail.
Yeah, go for it. So
Does
it's gonna
it-
help. Yeah, you got it. Use it.
Okay. It was left over from Kitty,
Yeah. Good, good, good.
or I mean, left over from Bear. Excuse me. It made no sense.
All right, Judith, did I answer your question for you?
Yes, I don't need to hurry up and try to get an appointment with Dr. Tedrow.
No. Start the turkey tail up.
Okay,
All right.
all right.
Okay. Well, you know who that leaves us with? Natalie. You have any
Yeah.
questions?
I don't think I have much for today. This came in the mail today, so I have
Send it
some.
back. It's garbage.
I guess the only question I have is I'm trying to transition my cats to a raw diet. I thought you guys were all dog people, but I've heard multiple people say they have cats. Just wondering if anyone has experience with that, or I just
Yep.
was reading.
We don't let the cat people talk too much. They're kind of strange. Cat people are kind of strange, so, yeah, especially Jonna, she's pretty strange. Jonna
what-
occupies about half of my heart. I couldn't love anybody more than I love Jonna. so
No.
That's why I pick on her. So I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm happy to answer any questions about your kitty.
Yep, that was all. I'm trying to transition both of my cats to a raw diet and they just will not touch anything. So I don't know if there's anything different I need to be doing.
Yeah. So why is she having a problem?
Well, they're not. I just don't know if the food I'm giving is the best for them. So
Well, let me just say that transitioning cats to raw food is difficult. And we know why it's difficult, don't we, guys? Dang.
yes.
Yeah. Why are cats so picky? Why are they picky eaters?
I don't know. I mean, I know they're obligate carnivores, so you'd think that they'd like it, but
Yeah. There's two reasons. Okay. First of all, what we've talked about this before, so I know you know it. What's the difference between, so if you put food down in front of a dog, what two criteria does it have to meet before they eat it?
Smell and taste.
Smell and taste. That's right. They have to smell good, have to taste good. All right. So what about a cat?
Has to feel good in their mouth.
What?
Has to feel
Texture.
like the way yeah, texture, exactly.
Texture.
Has to-
That's important. What else? So there's 4 criteria that are all just the same.
Okay,
Smell,
Smell.
taste, texture.
taste,
What else?
Texture. I don't know, cats are hard at that.
oh, like what it looks like.
What it looks like. Very important. So when you go, if you go to the grocery store and you look at bags of cat food, dog food, what do you see the difference between the two? Dog foods are little round nuggets. What do cat foods look like? They're little
Big.
stars and little half moons and all these little funny little, that's because they're trying to get these cats adjusted to what their cat food looks like because they know that if they get their cat eating that food that looks like that, then they won't want anything else. Okay. So that in itself makes it hard. The other thing that makes it hard is that if most people feed cats kibble, and we've talked about this before, the pet food industry, when the kibble comes out of the processor, has no flavor to it. And so they put a chemical spray on it that gives it its flavor. And that chemical spray has chemicals in it that are addicting. It literally, they become addicted to the food. And so when you're making a transition, especially from kibble to fresh, then you have to break that addiction. It's literally about breaking the addiction, because there's no reason in the world that you should have a cat there and put down a fresh piece of meat and put down a handful of kibble and it go to the kibble and want to eat the kibble. That doesn't make any sense at all, you know? And the only reason it does is because they have an addiction to the kibble. So what do we have to do? The first thing we have to do is break the addiction to the kibble. And so what does that mean? It means that we got to find something that the cat does want to try, does want to at least taste it, at least is open to giving it a try. It doesn't mean that they're going to give up their kibble, but it's saying, that's not bad. I'm going to give that a try. I'm going to eat it. So what it's happening is that just the fact that they're trying something else starts to break that addiction. And so the key is to find out what it is that cat is willing to try some, even if it's just a few bites, you know, whether it's tuna fish, whether it's chicken baby food, whether it's the raw meat, whether it's canned food versus kibble, you know, it's all about breaking that addiction. You know,
Yeah.
if I've got a cat that's been on kibble and can both, it's usually easier to break those because they're used to eating the can too. Okay, so it's all about getting them away from the kibble, because as soon as you get them away from the kibble, then you can get them on the raw. Okay, if you can get them on canned, then it's real easy to get them on raw. Okay, the other thing about feeding raw is that a lot of people get raw, they thaw it and they feed it and they don't warm it. And you got to warm the food up for the cat or they won't eat it cold. So you always have to do that. So what is anybody remember my little magical supplement that I use to help cats convert to raw?
The Fortiflora
Fortiflora.
probiotic.
Did Did I tell you about that? About using Fortiflora? We did. Natalie,
I
did I
don't
ever mention
remember.
that to you?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No.
Fortiflora is a probiotic made by Purina. It's not a very good probiotic, but cats love the taste of it. I mean, they absolutely love the taste. Has anybody ever done it for their cat?
I do it.
Does your kitties like the taste of it?
My secret weapon. Yes, they
Yeah.
love it.
They
Oh,
love and so what I do is I have them get some Fortiflora and sprinkle it on the food that you want them to eat. And most of the cats will eat it with the Fortiflora on it because they
Oh.
love the taste of it. Okay.
okay.
So,
Is there a specific cat one? Because I have some from Bradley, but I think it might be for dogs. I don't know if there's a
yeah,
specific.
they make it for cats and and
Okay.
they put something in it that the cats absolutely love the taste of it. So, and you can
Okay.
get it online now. And so and
Okay.
it's not expensive. If you were here in Spokane, I've got 2 boxes of it that I would love to give to somebody. But yeah, use that. I promise you that's going to help you. Okay.
Okay. I'll
So
try that.
if you can't get it where you want to, then holler at me and let me know and I'll try to help you. Okay.
Okay.
On-
Thank you.
It's on Amazon. Yeah.
Okay.
Donna, do you have any? Because Donna's been through all this with her cats.
Yeah. That's what I use to roll the pills in. That's why I can give them so many pills.
Okay.
And then if they don't eat, I just put a little whisper of it over the top of their food. Not a lot because there's some crap in it. It's not great.
Yeah.
No, it's not. But we're not using it long term. We're using it to
Right.
get the cat to eat the other food, and
Yeah.
then we come off the Fortiflora.
Yeah. No, I get it on
Natalie,
Amazon.
One thing that I've used in the past is just buying sardines in water and just taking a teeny bit and like using it as a topper, and it kind of gets them interested, and then they start to eat. Like I put the topper on the top and then my cat would eat what's underneath. So just use it like as a tease. That's sometimes helped.
That's a great idea. I'll try that too. Thank you.
We were able to transition our cat with going from kibble to the ZIWI air dried raw.
That's
Because
Ziwi
it's
Peak. Yeah,
crunchy.
Ziwi Peak.
It's
Yeah.
crunchy like kibble. So we were able to get him on that and then transition him to raw.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
I may have to add an extra step in, but thank you. I appreciate all the tips I can get from you all.
So what is the one thing that no cat will turn down?
Tuna.
Tuna. I've had cats that turn tuna.
Catnip.
Well, catnip. I'm talking about. I'm talking about some kind of food.
Oh,
Me
It's so long
too.
since I've had a cat.
In other words,
Mike.
if you had to give a pill to a cat and you couldn't find any way to get it down, you could hide it in this one thing. And what would it be?
A mouse.
That's it. No. It's hard to get it down the mouse. though.
Liverwurst or something.
I've never tried liverwurst. I
Neither have I, but it's a hot
Family
dog.
Liversworth. Yeah.
Hot dog.
Cheese?
Piece of chicken.
anchovy
Pate.
paste.
My cat
Anchovy
used to
paste.
love lunch meat.
Anchovy paste.
Foie gras.
Anchovy paste.
Ugh.
Where do you get that from?
The store. The grocery
Oh,
store
okay.
has it.
No,
Anchovy paste. The cats love it. You know what? That the old, and I don't even know if veterinarians know this anymore. When we used to give the cephalexin, a real common antibiotic. So cephalexin is horrible tasting. And so
Yes.
when you give a cephalexin capsule, if it ever breaks open and gets in the mouth, they start salivating and everything because it tastes absolutely horrible. So anyway, so what you do with with something you can't get down a cat, if you can't get them to get it in the anchovy paste and eat it, then what you do is you mix it up with the anchovy paste and you smear it on their shoulder. So anybody know why you do that?
Because
They'll
they'll
lick it off.
They lick it off. They clean themselves and they lick it off. So there's always a way to get it down a cat. So you just have to outsmart them.
Yeah, you just got to trick them. Yeah, they're a little tougher than a dog.
A lot tougher.
Oh,
than-
yeah.
Yeah. My dogs, I just say, it's a treat. And they eat it and they go, that wasn't a treat. So anyway, but that's what Lisa does to me too. It's a treat. All right. Anybody else? Okay, Great. Well, I only went 45 minutes later than I wanted,
Sorry.
so I'm going to get a scolding. All right, ladies.
But there
well,
were
it's been a
8 of
pleasure.
us. You know, there were 8
Yeah.
of us.
Sorry?
There were 8 of us, so you should have an excuse.
Yeah, it's a good turnout. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. And so
Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Thomas.
everybody,
you.
namaste. Everybody have a great evening. Okay.
care.
Thank you for joining.
Okay. Great
All right,
seeing
Natalie,
everybody.
thanks for coming.
Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Hey,
Thank
night.
you.
Thanks, Dr. Thomas.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.